Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning.
It's great to be back to New Mexico after 15 years. Last time I was here was 15 years ago, and I'm happy that you're still here. The last few days, actually, the last few weeks has been very strange for me. I was in Australia first. We had a big meeting of about 12 different education systems to talk about where everybody is going, what we're trying to do. We had Finland, Korea, China, India, Brazil. The US represented by 3 large education systems, Colorado, Kentucky, and New York City. And then went back to China, to my little village. And many of you think you live in remote areas. If I show you my picture of my village, you will say, wow, you're actually 5,000 years ahead of us. So, then I came back and then I spent a day. Last Friday in Colorado, the governor was convening a group of people called Ideas Festival of Americas. The governor was there, they got some senators. It was very interesting to talk about education, healthcare, and environment. It was a big theme. So I was doing an announcing speaker, and then they asked me, would you stay for Arnie Duncan? I said, no, I'll try to stay away from him as much as possible. And I went home, and then I was... last 2 days, it was very strange time. I was in Massachusetts, in a small district, a suburb of Boston, and so I was driving through this, the Revolution route. When Paul Revere came out of that process, I drove through Concord, Lexington, and arrived at Acton, which actually claim the first shot was in Acton. I was in Lexington. It was fired by a man from Acton. So I said, okay, fine, I'll believe that. And but I was interested to go over this process. And yesterday I was at a conference in Boston called the BLC, Building Learning Communities. They had 30, people from 30 different countries, over 1,000 people come to talk about what we can do in education. So, then I got here. So Albuquerque, and we're all talking about education. You heard the secretary, I'm talking about education. So from my own experience, as Gloria said, beautifully, very beautiful introduction, and so that's, I've had my experience in many different countries, and so I will give you my concluding line so you can leave, you don't want to listen to me. So, my line is basically this. I think this country, United States right now, is, by the way, my country now, I migrated here, is that is committing some suicide in education. As a nation, actually, that's not only education. We're committing our suicide through education. Because as you know, I think Toynbee, one of the great British historians, said that civilizations do not die from murder, they die from suicide. That is, most civilizations do not get invaded or defeated by others, is that we self-defeat. And why are we doing this? So what's happening right now? Basically, if you look at our education reforms right now being imposed upon us, from where I can see, is committing that suicide, but believing that we're actually doing great. This is no different from 2,000 years ago, Easter Island. I think many of you may